Yo guys, welcome to the Missing Piece, and today we're going to be breaking down UFC 293. We know it's a little bit late, so that's our bad. But to kickstart off, we got Manel Kape versus Felipe dos Santos.
Yeah, this fight was very unexpected because I think the Brazilian fans must have heard of Felipe dos Santos
Hmm.
because originally he was meant to be on the contender series for one of the Tuesday, I think it was 2 3 weeks ago, but his opponent missed weight, so he was always ready, and he got the call up to fight number 10, Manel Kape, who is arguably could be a future flyweight champion. So with this Felipe dos Santos, from my side, he was very unknown. I don't know about from your side. Do you think it was unknown from your side?
There was literally, I've never seen him fight, and
Yeah,
there was literally little to anything out there about him. But they did say keep an eye on him because he's very sharp. He's a
yeah,
very, very dangerous fighter, as we saw.
yeah. From that, what you said there, like keep an eye on him. Obviously, he trains at Shooter Box in Brazil, which is obviously that's where Charles Oliveira
Mm.
trains at, and obviously he's coached under Diego Lima, who's a very good coach. So obviously, a lot of people must have heard of him in terms of where he trains and stuff. But yeah, from this fight,
Mm.
um, Felipe dos Santos, honestly, he bought his A game. Even though he lost, he gained a
Mm.
lot of fans
Mm-hmm.
because he the entire basically the fight got fight of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So um yeah, even though he lost, obviously he landed a few good shots
Mm.
in every single round. But obviously Manel Cap won. So
I think the difference between these two was the fact that I think Manalo was just a bit more clinical, and he was definitely taken aback by the fact that Felipe was not moving. Like every time he got hit, he was back up in his face
yeah,
again. He didn't give him that little bit of breathing space. So I think that was what surprised him, and I think he went quite toe to toe with him for each and every other round. Like he didn't shy away, or there wasn't a round where you'd be like, "Oh, he was so far behind on that specific round." It was never like that. It was just Manel was just that bit sharper, was
yeah.
that a bit more
I mean,
clinical.
he's been there before. Like
But that's what I mean. There's a
he's
difference
ranked for a
between
reason. Yeah,
a ranked fighter and a UFC
debut. It was
debut.
debut as well.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, I can see why he won.
Well, can't lie, it was great matchmaking
Mm,
on my UFC's
mm,
side.
mm,
But in terms of where both fighters go, I think Felipe would probably fight. I would say obviously ranked because Manel Cap was a number 10 ranked. Obviously, I think what is he now? He should be like probably, I'm guessing, maybe 7 or 8, maybe even
I
higher. But
mm,
you can see what his rank is. But where
I think he's
Felipe,
number 8 now. He's number 8.
yeah, he's number 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's well from Cap side of on Cap's side, he's probably going to fight. Obviously, he was originally scheduled to fight Kai Kara France, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously we see what happened at the press conference and after that, and even in the Octagon interview, he called him out. So I
Yeah.
think we'll see Cap fight Kai Kara France. I don't know if
I think it's the next
maybe
fight
it's the
between
next
those
fight.
two.
I don't think. Hopefully, it's by the end of this year. But
Mm.
what I'm thinking maybe January, February time. But yeah, I think Cap's going to fight Kai Kara France. But whereas Felipe dos Santos, in terms of the flyweights,
He has to fight an unranked fighter,
yeah,
then make it into the top 15.
yeah,
Then just the normal journey of you fight in the top 10, then you keep going further and further.
just steady progress. Yeah,
Because I think, let's say he won this fight, I
he
don't think they would have made him.
he wouldn't go in the top 10
He
straight
wouldn't
away.
go into top 10. I
Top
think he would have
15
went
probably.
top. I'd give him 15th rank,
Yeah,
and even then he would still have to fight number 11, number 8,
yeah,
number so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? So it's I think it's a learning curve. I think there's nothing apart from obviously the evident loss. There's nothing bad Felipe can take away from this.
yeah.
Do you know
It's
what I mean?
always
So
it's just some upwards for him
literally,
now.
there's only upwards, onwards and upwards, as they say.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, going on to the co-main event now
hmm
between Tuivasa and Volkov, the heavyweights.
hmm
Um, Obviously in our preview video, we both predicted a knockout victory for Tuivasa,
yeah,
but we got that completely wrong. It wasn't even a knockout for Volkov; it was a submission
yeah.
from Volkov in round two, and I believe the submission was probably arm in guillotine or arm in the triangle armbar. I think it was
Mm.
something like that. But yeah, either or. Oh, it was
Ezekiel
Ezekiel choke.
choke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um.
It's a
So
weird one. Like you got your arms right underneath,
yeah,
like your arms tight underneath their neck, but you're like on top of them. It's a weird one, but
yeah. But for it was always going to be danger for Tuivasa when Volkov was on top of him
Mm.
at 6'7".
Mm.
Russian on your flipping on top of you
Yeah.
is always dangerous. So
I think what caught a lot of people by surprise is the fact that Tuivasa couldn't do anything.
yeah,
Like every time he threw a punch, it would land, but then Volkov will come back with a 1-2 of his own.
but he's got that length. That's why he's got
Obviously,
that
that's what. So
distance.
he was definitely playing that that length game,
Because
but
Tuivasa's game was, especially in this fight,
mhm,
especially with the 6'7" height that Volkov has.
mhm.
Tuivasa's aim was to get on the inside.
Mm.
He was trying to do that, but Volkov always was mitigating that, just staying on his jab.
But even when he did try and get into to there, it was just constant bombs being thrown, whether it's at his torso, whether it's at his chin. Like even if you try to get inside, he's just getting straight hit. Um, the one thing I'd say that worked for Tuvas was probably the leg kick. His calf was
Yeah, leg
dead.
kicks. Yeah, yeah,
Volkov was literally limping straight after the fight was
yeah.
finished because
Yeah,
he just kept on getting beaten up.
speaking about legs, uh, it's gonna sound weird, but in the UFC weighing show when Robert Whittaker was there, obviously Tuivasa is Australian and Whittaker's Australian, and when Tuivasa came on after you weigh in, Robert Whittaker first thing he said, "Oh Tuivasa, I'm gonna say one thing. I love your legs." I'm like, what the hell is this guy saying? But yeah,
He
speaking
took
about leg
about
kicks, yeah, Tuivasa honestly chopped Volkov's legs down.
yeah.
But if it went full 3 rounds and Tuivasa kept on chopping at the lead leg, I think maybe Tuivasa maybe could have won, but obviously it was a round two submission. But Volkov had to take him down because he couldn't stand with him for too long because of his
But I
legs.
think what it was though was so Tuivasa went for a kick and he caught
Yeah,
it
Volkov caught it. Yeah,
and then he fell over and it was just like, okay, then if you're here, then I'm going to be on top of you.
yeah,
Because like I said, if he was still on the ground, he would have chopped his leg. Then even if he switched his stance, I think it would have been not uncomfortable, but you might not have the same gauge of the distance and the
exactly.
same
Yeah,
strikes that you're going to throw.
yeah,
But I still think even if he went to the distance, I still think Volkov would have won.
yeah.
I still think so. I think his output was just so much more.
Yeah, maybe we never know.
We
Obviously,
never know.
Volkov got the win, but
Yeah.
those legs were very well. Those leg kicks from Tuivasa was very damaging. So we wouldn't know what would happen in round three.
Hmm.
But obviously, Volkov got the win via submission.
Hmm.
But yeah, going on to the main event,
The
it was a
main event of the evening,
it was a very sad moment for me. Like obviously, in the preview show, I
which
mentioned to you guys that Izzy is my favorite fighter. Um,
we both got this wrong as well.
yeah,
We said
yeah,
we said Izzy wins, but if it goes to the ground, it's different because
yeah,
Izzy's never submitted one. But I think we were just we were basically we missed this whole week.
yeah,
Basically, we just missed the target.
yeah.
Absolute stinker.
I think nobody expected to watch that from Sean because I think
Yeah,
when we previewed it,
yeah,
we both said that if Sean wants to win, he has to be dialed in. He can't
yeah, yeah.
he can't switch off for
Mhm.
even a second,
Which he never.
which he never literally. The entire performance was Mayweather-esque.
I'm telling you, Mayweather is his trainer. Yeah, he did, bro. He went to Las
Mayweather
Vegas.
Mayweather-esque performance. Honestly, that his obviously it's an MMA fight, but he executed a boxing stance with kickboxing mixed in with it. Obviously, he didn't land a lot of kicks, but
Mm.
his punches were on point, especially round one when he got the knockdown. And Izzy,
Mm.
I was like, "What the hell is happening here?"
I think what it was is he was close enough where Izzy couldn't throw leg kicks,
Hmm.
and he even if Izzy did throw leg kicks, it was at a point where like he would be able to easily check them, or he'd throw them, but it would just skim him because he kept on dodging back a lot. Like he'll be in his stance and he would just move out within that range of the leg kick.
Yeah, speaking about checking kicks, I think when Izzy was landing his kicks,
Mm.
well, especially to the legs,
Hmm.
Sean was checking them.
Yeah, he
I saw
was.
Izzy was like, "Oh yeah, if this, every time I throw a leg kick
Yeah.
and Sean's checking it,
Hmm.
well, what do I do? I can't keep on throwing them because if your opponent checks your kick, you're gonna hit your own leg, yeah."
Hmm.
So he was aiming, he was gauging the moment, saying that, "Oh yeah, if I can't do that, let me go to the head, let me go to the body." But Sean was honestly
His defense
performance was,
was
yeah.
defense was.
Speaking about defense, his striking defense. I think I know he's it's the I guarantee you, is 100% is the best in the middleweight division.
Mm.
But I think I also seen that it's the best. He has the best striking defense in the entire UFC on the whole roster,
Oh, okay.
which speaks volumes because Izzy, I think, in terms of the strikes, if you go to the speaking about the strikes here, um, total strikes landed. I think this was maybe in Izzy's only fight where he landed less or fewer total strikes than his opponent.
Yeah, because that's his, he was fighting on his back foot though the entire time. That was I think that was the problem which they couldn't stop Sean from doing.
Yeah,
But I think the biggest problem, because this is not like we haven't seen Israel's fight like this. I think we have. When people say, "Oh, we haven't seen Israel like this," I think we've seen Israel fight from his back foot. We've just seen him win from his back foot. This is the first
yeah,
time
against
I
Pereira.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think this is the first time where he's been on his back foot and he's actually like, you know what, I can't do anything here.
but
And every time I try to go forward, he's there within range of hitting me. Like, do you know what I mean? So
it's
it
just
was like a Bermuda Triangle for him. He didn't know what to do. Like he just
mm,
disappeared.
yeah.
Like,
Like a lot of people saying it's off night. I would probably say it's off night, but
hmm,
with Sean's game plan,
hmm,
it mitigated what Izzy knew, what he wanted to do because Izzy wants to control the distance. He's a counter striker. But obviously, because going on to your point in terms of he beat a guy whilst he was on the back foot
hmm,
against Pereira, he was in the cage.
hmm,
Again, his back was against the cage, and most of the fight, Izzy was against the back of
yeah,
his back was against the cage. But Pereira offered that knockout power threat,
hmm,
whereas Sean, I wouldn't say he doesn't have knockout power. He does, but Sean is not known for his knockout power. Yeah.
hmm,
So Sean's more like, oh, let me get a few shots in and then maybe get
hmm,
the knockdown, then ground and pound, get the victory
hmm.
via ground and pound. But that could have happened in round one if round one played on. Because I think it was believable he knocked him down in
I
the last 20
think,
seconds.
see, I think when he got knocked him down in the last 20 seconds, I think because Izzy was scrambling to get back up, I think he had a perfect chance to take his back, which I thought he probably would have done, but I think he wanted to knock him out. So he
Yeah,
just kept him and he knew, like, I think he had him, on edge, and he's like, I'm just gonna keep hammering in.
yeah,
But like they say in it, defense wins you championships, and defense won him the
yeah.
middleweight world
His his
championship of
his,
the world.
his striking defense is insane. But obviously, Izzy is my favorite. Still
Hmm.
is my favorite.
Hmm.
But Sean, after this fight,
Hmm.
after this type of performance, he gained so much respect for me.
Hmm.
So much.
I think the fact that I liked a lot about him was even after he won, he was still the same humble person he
Yeah.
was. Like, I'll say
He's
humble.
never gonna change.
I say humble. It's not like he's he's not really humble, but he was very much like he was very honest. Where he's like, you know what, I thought I was gonna leave here a lot more bloody. I thought I was gonna be
Mhm.
here like, I've just come from war and I'm like dead. But nah, he was very honest and he was like, I can't believe it. Like, that I'm a champion. And he was very honest with himself and he's very honest with the questions and stuff that was asked of him.
Yeah.
I think the thing now for Sean is
Yeah. What's next for both fighters? Let's do the obviously the loser first in Izzy. What do you think is next for him?
he has to rematch him.
Rematch. I would say rematch as
But
well.
I think if he loses the rematch, then
Yeah, I
there's
don't know.
nothing for
Yeah,
him.
he's going to be in a difficult
Yeah,
situation if he
I think if
loses.
he loses a second time, he's not going to do it all over again where he fights more and more people to get back to
But
the.
pop up the middleweight rankings and see what type of fighters are there. Even though Izzy's cleared most of them,
Mm,
let's see what. Obviously, there's Duplessis.
mhm.
There is obviously
But
Whitaker.
Duplessis says he doesn't want to fight him.
Yeah, because Duplessis wants a title shot.
Hmm.
There is so he's fought uh Whitaker, Cannonier, Vittori, Costa, Roman Delete says he obviously needs to work his way up. He's fought Brunson, but then
Hmm.
I was obviously that below that is going to the 10, 11, 12, 13 ranks fighters. But in terms of Izzy, obviously instant rematch um, is what I would say.
Hmm.
But if he loses, then it's a sticky situation.
Yeah, I think if he loses, it's either you go up a weight class and see what you can do there. But like we
Difficult.
saw when he fought
Jan Blachowicz, yeah.
Jan Blachowicz, was he struggled putting on that
Yeah,
muscle.
he didn't even weigh in at 205. I think pretty sure he weighed in at 201 or 202.
Yeah,
And
so
he obviously he's got the height on him,
mm,
but he didn't look as big compared to
mm,
Jan. Even in when Izzy fought Pereira twice in the UFC,
mhm.
Pereira was huge, and obviously Pereira's going to gone up to level light heavyweight.
Mm.
Pereira just fought Jan Blachowicz,
Hmm.
and Pereira looked bigger than bloody Jan. So
Yeah.
Izzy looks small compared to the light heavyweights.
So I think it's either that or just retirement,
Yeah,
or he might go back to kickboxing. Who knows?
but he's done. That's where he's established his game. That's why he's known as
I
one of
know,
the best kickboxers in the world. So I don't think he will go there.
I
But
know. It's one of them ones, but who knows? He'll come back. He'll win.
yeah,
Then he'll fight Duplessis because of the real African.
yeah, the
He'll. I
Nigerian.
think if he wins and he fights Duplessis and he beats him, who do you think is next then?
But I don't think Izzy will. I don't think Duplessis would fight Izzy because Duplessis in his mind already was like, I just beat Whitaker.
Hmm.
Nobody expect me to beat him like how I beat him.
Hmm.
Title shot. But now Izzy's lost the belt. So strict as a champion. Rematch. I think Duplessis just needs to wait.
It's either he waits. I think okay. So there's gonna be two outcomes. It's like an instant rematch, which I think you'll get
Yeah,
as being the former champion.
yeah,
Because I think if it was Sean that lost and he's saying he wants a rematch, you'll never get it.
yeah,
And then the other option is Sean fights Duplessis,
yeah,
and then the winner fights Izzy. But then at the
yeah,
same time, it's like he's not getting a rematch, and then it's just like he's just fighting for the belt again. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like so, it can go one of two ways. I think it just depends on how
I think
they
rematch.
decide it.
I
Yeah.
think rematch and Duplessis just waits personally.
Mm.
But yes, obviously we were no point of going us on to what Sean Strickland's what's next for him because we think he will get the rematch.
Mhm.
But if he doesn't, then obviously Dricus is there, Dricus Duplessis. So yeah, so Sean Strickland has two potential outcomes. Whereas Izzy, he's
He has to hope
even
for one.
even on his Instagram story he said that, oh yeah, I'm quietly confident. So let's see. But
Mm.
then Dana afterwards, obviously he's famous saying after fights, oh yeah, I never make a fight after a fight has happened. But
Yeah, he always says we've got to do on
yeah,
Tuesday.
Tuesday meeting in the war room, and but yeah, after the fight in the post fight media, he said that yeah, I think Izzy does deserve the rematch. But then on Tuesday, the Dana White Contender Series on Tuesday, he said that we are willing to listen to what Sean wants. So on a Saturday evening or Sunday morning in Australia, when obviously because they fought in the morning on Sunday, um, in Australia. So Dana was like, yeah, Izzy deserves a rematch. Tuesday was like, nah, sure, we're gonna wait until what Sean does. So Dana's in two minds, but from our point of view, Izzy deserves a rematch here,
Mm.
and Sean is probably gonna obviously welcome that because he's a champion. But if it doesn't happen, then obviously Dricus Duplessis is there.
I think Dana White just said that we'll listen to Sean so he can make Sean versus Duplessis happen.
Yeah,
I don't think it's. I think if he gave the option really to Sean, he'd go okay then rematch because I think that's what he knows what he deserves, what
hmm.
Izzy deserves anyways. And I think he's just saying that just in case he does decide to do Sean versus Duplessis, that he's gonna say, "Oh yeah, it was Sean's decision." I think it's like a cop out, but I don't know. You never know. It's one of them ones where
But you never know what Sean is gonna say. Like he's unpredictable in terms of what he
it's
says.
unpredictable, but I think he's actually quite smart though. Like I think people don't give him enough credit. Like I think he'll look at that and be like, you know what? Okay, Izzy was the champion for the last few years,
3 4 years, maybe five.
and the one time he loses, he doesn't deserve a rematch. Come on, that doesn't make
Yeah, but
sense.
obviously this is going on to a tangent now. But obviously Sean O'Malley, speaking of another Sean,
Hmm.
O'Malley beat Aljo.
Hmm.
Aljo had what, three, four, maybe five title defenses.
Hmm.
This is a good question here. Do you think Izzy deserves the rematch more than Aljo?
I think they were both champions that were at the very top for a long time, so I think they both deserve a rematch.
Yeah,
I think it's just the way it works. Because if they start fighting other people, I think it just turns into boxing, where
yeah,
boxing decides who fights who because of you waited the longest or you fought the most recent, and therefore you deserve it after this
yeah. That
person lost.
rematch
Do you know what I
clauses and
mean?
stuff.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah. So it becomes very much boxing based. So
it's a good thing that UFC don't have rematch clauses.
yeah. So
But yeah,
it just depends. So I think whatever decides what happened. But it was very funny when Aljo put up his phone saying rematch,
oh yeah,
and then
when the thing, yeah.
apparently I didn't see it, but Sean replied saying no.
Yeah, I think
Apparently,
yeah when they put the camera on Aljo, he said, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
uh, rematch Sugar or rematch O'Malley something like that."
yeah,
And then Sugar Sean O'Malley replied saying that
the same thing on his
Yeah,
phone, but he just said no.
he said no, yeah. And
But
then Chito Vera
mhm,
got into the action saying that, oh, I'm next. And then and then Marab but I think Marab, yeah, he's controlling the entire game because he's the last person to thingy, and I think he deserves the title shot after if Aljo doesn't get it.
mm,
Marab just said, hold on, you're number 6 ranked because he was replying to Cheeto.
yeah,
So so yeah, I think, but obviously that's bantamweight, but um
mm,
yeah, so obviously that's the preview. Well, not preview, sorry, review.
mhm,
The review for UFC 293, which happened in Sydney the past weekend.
mhm.
Um, obviously there's another title fight on this weekend, but that's
It's a
another
fight night, which is
yeah,
quite find it
whi-
quite surprising to be fair. A title fight that's just a fight
which is
week,
good
but
because UFC. I don't know when the last time they held a title fight on a fight night,
mm,
but yeah, it's a good thing that UFC obviously is free. Obviously, we don't live in America here, but um, in America, obviously they can watch it for free and stuff there. But obviously, that's a title fight between Grasso and Shevchenko, but that's another story. But the next pay per view,
it's the
which
one
is
and
a big
only.
one, I think the most well, I wouldn't say anticipated because it's we know both fighters are gonna show the A game.
Mhm.
But in terms of like popularity, it's the biggest fight of the year.
I know, and we're gonna hit and still, inshallah.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. So that's in UFC 294, which is in October,
Mhm.
in Abu Dhabi. So prime time for us in the UK.
Mm.
So hopefully, obviously, we're gonna preview that during fight week, and obviously watch the fights, and a few days after that, we're gonna review it, and we'll either hear and still for Islam again, or
Inshallah. That's what I want to hear.
and new for Charlie Olives,
Charlie
which is
Olives.
By Charles Oliveira.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we'll catch you guys next month for
See you
UFC
the next one,
294. All
guys.
right, see ya.